Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin from Florals.com and today I have a really exciting layout to share with you guys. I recently purchased these Project Life cards from Tuesday Morning. It's a set of frames and 4x4 cards and some 2x2 cards that I really love. Actually, the reverse of these that have text on them are actually Spanish on the other side, so I thought that was really unique and interesting, and I don't remember Project Life ever releasing these, but I do really enjoy them and I'll be using them today. I picked these out specifically because they match the yellow that's on my sweater in this photo, and I really like the idea of using a frame with this one that I wanted to cut down to 4x4 anyway. As you can tell, these are rounded quarter Project Life cards and frames, so I brought out my corner rounder so I can use that to make all of my edges rounded. And what's also really nice about this layout is I don't use any pattern paper. What you see here is pretty much all I use, and I add some mixed media and stickers and call it a day. But it does look really nice in the end, in my personal opinion, and it's been so long since I've done some sort of crazy mixed media background, but today is the day I finally bring back the mixed media to my channel. And I hope you guys are excited for that. I know a lot of you have been wanting to see it for a while, so today is the day. I start going through my mixed media mists. I pull out this Americana medium gloss, and if you guys don't know, this is something I've been trying to use for months. I pull out this stencil from Echo Park, I believe, or Cartabella. I think it's Echo Park. And it's these little scattered hearts, and I grab the gel medium gloss with my 12x12 cardstock and start putting it through the stencil. Now, I did read the directions. You can mix this with paint if you want to have a slight tint with that glossy finish. It says to use acrylic paint, but I just go for the plain gloss finish. So you'll see it's going to go through the stencil here. One thing I wish I did was fill in the stencil a little bit better. It's very hard to see because it is a clear medium, but some of my hearts weren't filled in all the way, and you'll see this towards the end when I do the close-ups. It doesn't look great, and again, you can't see it right now, but I promise it's there. Those tiny little dots are the different pieces of the gloss in the shape of hearts. So I'm going to use this stencil pretty much all over the background. Don't ask me why I didn't start on the edge. I do go back and try to fix that and try to cover all the pieces here. So as I move my stencil around, I don't often overlay it on top of another piece I've already gone over. I know some people do that, but I often get worse results when I do that, trying to line it back up or trying to just, get an effect with it that I want them closer together. Never works well for me. So I'm just going to use my palette knife here and start putting it through the stencil. Again, I'm going to fill in the spots at the top that I missed, so this could have all been avoided had I just put the stencil on properly in the first place. Originally, I guess I thought I might just, use it on part of the layout, and then I ended up using it everywhere, so here's me trying to fix my mistake. And once that's done, I do set it aside to dry. I don't like using my heat gun to dry things, especially since it can warp the paper a lot more. So after it's dry, I will admit it's a tiny bit tacky. I didn't want to wait too long because I wanted to get this process video done. And if you guys are interested in seeing the behind the scenes of this process video, I just posted my Vlogmas vlog where you guys can watch that happen. And I'm doing the packaging technique here. I'm using Heidi Swapp Color Shine in the color Sweet Mint, Butter, and Navy. And as you could tell from the Project Life cards, there are also pinks and oranges in there, which I don't highlight here. I don't have a pink that works really well for these types of situations. The only pinks that I have are Abandoned Coral from Tim Holtz and the Hot Pink from Heidi Swapp. So I didn't want to go for hot pink and I didn't want to go for peachy pink. I wanted like a lighter pink, which I didn't have. So I end up just not doing a pink. So we're sticking with the blues and yellows. And I guess a little bit of green with that Sweet Mint. So for the packaging technique, I just grab a spare piece of packaging, which I always keep my packaging. It's great for mixed media. It's great for so many things. I put some of the Color Shine on it, and then I add a little bit more water to give it more of a liquidy. I want to thin it down so it can spread a lot more easily. And I have to do this a ton of times because I am using a small piece of plastic. However, if you're brave, you can use a larger piece of plastic or maybe a piece of acetate if you have that. I just found that if I do something too large, I have a hard time controlling it and it can become muddy very easily. So in between each of the colors, because I am switching back and forth, I just wipe it clean with a paper towel. That way the colors don't intermix and get messy. At this point, I really thought I was just going to do like a little cluster of that main title card and then my 2 photos, but I ended up doing a grid layout instead. I didn't want to go in a full circle just alternating the colors, so I did try to mix it up a little bit by adding some additional colors towards the outside and then the inside, you know, just to give it a little bit more variation so it didn't get too plain. Now I did end up using a lot of yellow, and the navy turned more into a gray blue instead of a true navy, which I didn't mind because it wasn't a pure navy on the Project Life cards either. So that's good to know that you don't need exact matches. Sometimes it's better to just go for it and see how it turns out. So here I'm actually adding additional color onto the other pieces that I already put down just to give it a little bit more boldness. And you can really start to see the hearts coming through. Now, if you're doing this sort of resist technique, I would recommend having more paper towels nearby. Since it's a resist technique, sometimes the color will puddle on top of your medium, the gloss medium in this case. So what I have to do later is actually dab it all off because it can get smeared otherwise. So just be careful of that if you're looking to try to do a resist technique like this one. I know that Sarah Scraps is releasing a mixed media class very, very soon, and you guys should definitely check that out if you haven't already. She does some awesome mixed media techniques, and I watch so many great YouTubers who do so much better mixed media than I do. I'm definitely no expert at it. I just go for whatever I'm in the mood for. And this time it was to use some color to create this fun background. Now I will say right now I think it looks quite ugly. I think it's pretty, but it's not relating correctly to the Project Life cards like I wanted it to. And to be honest, I'm struggling at this point in my head while looking at this to see it coming together full circle. So here I start blotting some of the drops that I'd made so that they don't puddle and seep through the paper. However, a lot of this seeped through the paper. I did not gesso my paper before I started. I hate doing that step. It's not something I like to do, and this is just some basic cardstock from Hobby Lobby. So it definitely did a different technique. It still looks really nice. I don't mind it, but I do wish that maybe I did gesso it first to see how that would have turned out. But I'm going to set that aside to dry for quite some time. Again, that takes quite a while to dry because again, it absorbed into the paper. It's sitting there, and that's what it's going to do. So in the meantime, I'm going to start trying to lay out the elements that I want on this page. So I have the little 2x2 pieces out. I have my picture that's in a frame. I rounded the corners on the 4x6 photo I had. And here's where I get the idea to do a grid. Now I'm not sure how I wanted it yet. I knew that if I did the 2 4x4s next to each other, then everything else could fit in to follow suit, which worked really well. I will say I thought I was going to use more of these pieces, and I mean, let's see, I used 8 here, and that's still pretty good, so I don't mind not using as many. So after waiting a little while, I actually ate dinner in between waiting for this to dry and going forward with it. I realized, man, there is no pink on this layout. It looks so awkward and it doesn't look like it fits, and I'm really struggling to find it to work. So I find a washi tape that matches. I could have done a pattern paper, I could have done anything, and I put strips of that at the top and the bottom to help give that punch of pink that we need. Again, this is more of a hot pink, which again doesn't perfectly match this purple pink that's in this collection, but it's close enough. I definitely could have used hot pink in the background, but I was really nervous that the navy was going to muddy everything anyway. Luckily it didn't, and I didn't waste all that time, but pink could have fit in there as well next to the yellow perhaps. But I just didn't want to risk the muddiness of making an orange, which again, orange is in here, so that could have worked, but you win and you lose some. I'm definitely still happy with how it turned out, and I have a ton of things in my stash that already coordinate with these colors. I pulled out the LE Studio Sierra sticker set. This one's so old, guys. I think it's like maybe 4 years old. I'm not 100% sure, but I pull out a bunch of those stickers because although they are, I think they're supposed to be baby or little girl themed, they still work well for cute cat photos, as all baby things do. So I'm going to glue my frame finally onto my photo, and I do misplace it slightly, so I grab my scissors and trim a bit of that off. It wasn't noticeable at all, it's just I noticed it, so then I had to fix it. And I do love how this layout turned out. Now you might notice I did not center anything here. I kind of like that it's not perfectly centered, it's sort of offset to the right a bit. And I don't mind that. I think it shows off the mixed media a bit better. I wish more of the mint was showing. It just ends up being a lot of that navy and that yellow, a lot of yellow. but you can see it in between the photos and elements as well, and through these cut aparts, which I think is fun to do. I did end up ripping this poor ampersand, so I ended up just gluing it back together because that's what I do. There are additional ones in this set, but I figured I'm not going to waste it, I'll just glue it back together. And here, instead of spacing all 4 of these pieces out evenly, I thought it'd be nice to have that full direct line down the middle, so I paired them 2 and 2 over the other sets of the 4-inch squares. And here I pull this jelly bean soup sticker out of my stash and put some foam behind it, and it just says I love you. It might say I heart you. Yeah, it's a heart. And I glued that down. This one from the Sienna collection. I think I said Sierra before. It's Sienna. And I put that down there. And I actually ended up bashing this whole sticker sheet, which is the first thing I've finished in December so far. I hope to bash a lot of stash this month because I don't have a stash kit or anything. I'm just working with supplies that interest me. But I finished that sticker sheet, which is a big win. And you guys know finishing anything in a scrapbooking stash is a big win. Here I come in with some Paige Evans puffy stickers. I use a hot pink star, I use a yellow flower, and then a yellow butterfly to add a little bit more fun and dimension to this page. Again, this is just a fun moment I had with my cat, so anything really went on this layout, although I didn't use anything cat themed, which is unusual for me, but this layout is almost complete, and I hope you guys have enjoyed it so far. And if you have enjoyed it so far, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already. I'm uploading process videos Tuesdays and Thursdays for the next 3 months, and then we also have some additional educational content coming on Saturdays. And if you guys have not noticed, Vlogmas has officially begun, and you guys can watch that with the playlist link down below. And if you check out the day 2 Vlogmas video, you'll see a giveaway during the behind the scenes of this exact layout. So definitely check that out if you're interested in entering the giveaway. And here are the close-ups of the layout. Again, a really unique color scheme, really unique sort of pairing all these stickers together and having fun with it and doing mixed media, which was a new concept for me. But I did enjoy doing it again. But thank you guys so much for watching. Again, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys again very, very soon. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!